Have you ever wondered why a simple hug can either make a woman feel nothing at all, or make her crave your presence long after she leaves your arms? Most men think attraction is built only through words, status, or physical looks. But here's the truth. The way you touch, the way you carry your energy in something as ordinary as a hug, can trigger deep psychological responses. And if you understand how to harness this, you won't just be another man she hugs politely. You'll be the man she thinks about. The man whose presence lingers in her mind and body. Sam Harris, a philosopher and neuroscientist, has often spoken about the power of awareness, the way consciousness shapes reality, the way subtle choices create enormous outcomes. When it comes to attraction, the same rule applies. Every small gesture, every subtle touch, every second of presence during a hug communicates volumes. Most men rush. Most men lack intention. But when you combine awareness with action, when you slow down and control the energy of the moment, you separate yourself from the forgettable and step into the unforgettable. Today, I'm going to break down how to touch her during a hug so she craves you, not in a cheap or manipulative way, but in a way rooted in psychology, confidence, and mindfulness. We'll explore 7 key parts, each designed to help you understand what really goes on in her mind and body during physical closeness. By the end, you'll see why a hug is not just contact, it's communication. And if you master it, she won't just remember you, she'll feel you. Part 1. The Psychology of Touch. Before we even get into the physical details, let's understand what touch actually does to the human mind. Science is clear. Touch releases oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. It creates trust, safety, and warmth. But here's the mistake most men make. They think every touch is equal. They think simply putting their arm around her or pulling her in is enough. Wrong. A woman's body is highly sensitive to intention. If your touch feels rushed, needy, or mechanical, she will instantly sense it. Instead of desire, she'll feel resistance. Sam Harris often emphasizes how our inner states of mind cannot be faked. You might smile, but if you're anxious inside, people will feel it. The same goes for touch. If your intention is grounded, calm, and present, your touch communicates confidence without words. Women crave safety more than anything, and when your hug radiates stability, you instantly stand out. Think about this. When a nervous boy hugs her, she feels his shaking energy and dismisses him. But when a centered man embraces her, not too tight, not too loose, with calm control, her body relaxes, her guard lowers, and her subconscious begins to link him with comfort. That's the starting point of attraction. It's not about aggression or dominance, it's about presence. So the first key is awareness. Before you even hug her, slow your breathing, ground yourself, and remember that you are the man in control of your energy. When you touch her, you're not just making contact with her body. You're making contact with her nervous system, her psychology, her hidden desires. Approach it with mindfulness, and you'll create a spark most men never understand. Part 2. The Power of Subtle Placement. Now let's get practical. Where you place your hands during a hug matters more than most men realize. Touch is like language. Some touches are friendly, some are distant, and some are deeply intimate. If you want her to crave you, your hands must send the right message. The average man will slap his arms around her shoulders like a buddy or keep his hands stiff and lifeless. That does nothing. But a man who understands female psychology uses subtle placement to awaken hidden emotions. For example, resting your hand gently but firmly on the small of her back communicates protection and strength. It makes her feel shielded, cared for, and subtly desired. This is a powerful move because it bypasses her conscious mind and speaks directly to her instincts. Sam Harris once explained that most of our decisions are not the result of conscious logic, but subconscious processes. Attraction works the same way. A woman may not consciously analyze why your touch feels different, but her subconscious will tell her, this man feels safe. This man feels strong. This man feels intentional. Another subtle placement is near her waist. Not in a grabbing way, but in a guiding, steadying way. This communicates leadership. It shows her that you are not afraid of closeness, and it places you in the role of the grounded masculine presence she instinctively craves. But here's the secret. You don't rush. You don't fidget. You don't overdo it. Your touch should feel like it belongs there, natural and calm. If you act like you're afraid of offending her, she'll feel your uncertainty. But if you act like it's the most natural thing in the world, she'll respond with relaxation and even longing. The more subtle and confident your touch, the more powerful the craving effect becomes. Because what women remember is not just the hug, it's the feeling the hug left behind. And when your hands speak the language of stability, protection, and desire, she will replay that moment long after it ends. Touch isn't just about placement, it's about rhythm. A hug that lasts too long can feel suffocating. A hug that ends too quickly feels empty. Timing is where most men fail. Because they aren't paying attention. They are either desperate to hold on or too insecure to let the moment breathe. Women notice this instantly. Sam Harris often reminds us that life is experienced in the present moment, and that awareness of timing defines our perception of reality. In attraction, the same principle applies. If you're aware, you can feel when the hug should linger and when it should release. A man who holds just the right amount of time shows that he understands balance. He knows how to savor intimacy without clinging. Imagine this. You embrace her. Hold her firmly but calmly, and then release just half a second later than she expects. That extra heartbeat leaves her mind questioning, why did that feel so different? That micro delay creates a subconscious craving, because it shows you are not rushing, not nervous, and not begging for approval. Instead, you're leading the pace, controlling the tempo of the connection. Think of it like music. Too fast and the song loses depth. Too slow and it becomes heavy. But the perfect rhythm? It stirs emotion. The same happens in touch. By mastering timing, you train her body to remember you, not just as another man, but as the man who knows how to make even a hug feel unforgettable. Part 4. The energy behind the embrace. Energy is invisible, but it's always felt. When you hug a woman, she's not just feeling your arms, she's feeling your state of being. Are you tense? Are you needy? Are you overexcited? Or are you calm, composed, and confident? Sam Harris often explores consciousness as the backdrop of all human experience. What you feel internally, you project externally. A hug filled with nervous energy is like static. It pushes her away. A hug filled with grounded presence is magnetic. It pulls her closer. When your chest meets hers, your breathing matters. If you're shallow and erratic, she feels your anxiety. But if you breathe slowly and deeply, you transmit stability. She begins to mirror your rhythm, calming down without even knowing why. This is why mindful presence is so attractive. It bypasses words and logic, striking directly at the subconscious. Here's the truth. Women don't crave men who just look strong. They crave men who feel strong, men who radiate certainty in their silence. Your energy during a hug should communicate, I know who I am. I don't need to prove myself. I am here and you are safe with me. That energy makes her want to stay in your arms. That energy makes her crave you when you're gone. Remember, she doesn't replay the exact pressure of your arms or the exact second of the hug. She replays the feeling. And if your energy is calm, confident, and masculine, she will long for it again. Part 5. The Subtle Art of Contrast. Now here's where mastery begins. Contrast. If every hug feels the same, it becomes predictable. and what is predictable eventually becomes boring. But if you create contrast, shifts between firmness and softness, between closeness and space, you awaken her senses. Sam Harris often speaks about how the human mind thrives on contrast. We notice light only against darkness. We understand silence only after sound. In attraction, the same rule applies. When you hug her with just the right balance of strength and gentleness, you give her nervous system something unforgettable. For example, start with steady firmness, show her strength, stability. Then soften your grip slightly, letting her body feel the change. That transition creates a wave of emotion. It communicates that you're not rigid. You're adaptable, alive, and attuned to the moment. This contrast can also be emotional. Your eyes and smile before or after the hug deepen the memory. If you hug her with controlled intensity and then release her with a subtle, knowing smile, you've just created a dual experience. Physical closeness followed by psychological intrigue. That duality lingers in her mind. Here's the secret. Women crave variety within consistency. Be the stable man, but add micro-contrast in how you touch, how you breathe, how you hold. It's these small shifts that make her feel as though every embrace is new, alive, and charged with possibility. And when she never knows exactly what to expect but always knows it will feel good, you become irresistible. A hug isn't just a physical act, it's a mental imprint. The body reacts, but the mind records. Every time you hold a woman in your arms, you're leaving behind not only a memory of touch but also an emotional association. And here's where most men fail. They treat the hug as a transaction instead of a transformation. Sam Harris has often highlighted the illusion of self, the idea that we are not as separate as we think. When you hug a woman with awareness, you blur that illusion for a moment. She feels as if her body and your body are in sync, her emotions and your emotions aligned. This creates a powerful mind-body connection that goes beyond surface attraction. Consider this. If she associates your embrace with safety, excitement, and calmness all at once, then her subconscious will begin to crave that state of being. It's not you she consciously misses. It's the feeling you create inside her. And once that bond is established, she'll seek it out again and again. This is why mindfulness is your greatest tool. Before you hug her, align your body with your mind. Slow your breathing. Relax your shoulders. Release tension. Because the more attuned you are, the more attuned she becomes. And when her body and mind connect with yours in harmony, the hug becomes more than physical contact. It becomes a memory that haunts her in the best way. Part 7. The After Effect of Absence. The true power of a hug doesn't end when you let go. It begins there. What happens after you release her will determine whether she forgets you or craves you. This is the art of absence, the lingering echo of presence. Sam Harris often reminds us that consciousness is shaped not just by what happens, but by what remains after the moment has passed. A woman doesn't consciously measure the pressure of your arms, but she does feel the lingering warmth, the sudden emptiness, the shift from closeness to distance. And it's in that gap, in that sudden absence, that craving is born. When you let go, don't rush into words. Don't make the mistake of over-explaining. Instead, let silence speak. Hold eye contact for a second. Give a subtle smile, then move on with calm confidence. That silence creates mystery. That mystery creates memory. Here's the paradox. The more secure and nonchalant you are after the hug, the more she'll replay it in her mind. Because while the embrace gave her comfort, your absence now amplifies the desire for its return. That's the hook. That's the craving. When you understand this, you stop treating a hug like a forgettable gesture and start using it as a powerful tool of connection, attraction, and influence, ending the final lesson. So let's bring it all together. Touch during a hug is not random. It's not casual. It's a language, one that most men never bother to learn. But you're not like most men. You now understand the psychology of touch, the placement of hands, the rhythm of timing, the energy of presence, the power of contrast, the depth of mind-body connection, and the after effect of absence. Each part is a piece of the puzzle. Each part is a step toward becoming unforgettable. Sam Harris teaches us that awareness is everything. Most people live unconsciously, missing the beauty of subtlety, blind to the impact of small gestures. But when you bring awareness to something as simple as a hug, you turn an ordinary act into extraordinary influence. You stop being just another man she greets politely, and you become the man she feels deeply, the man she thinks about long after you're gone. Remember this. Women don't crave men because of status symbols or empty words. They crave the men who know how to make them feel. And if you can master the art of touch, if you can transform a hug into an unforgettable experience, then she won't just enjoy your presence, she'll hunger for it. So the next time you embrace her, don't hug like every other man. Hug with intention. Hug with awareness. Hug like a man who knows his energy is his greatest weapon. Because when you do, she won't just remember the hug, she'll remember you.